This week, we're finishing The Winter's Curse by Marie Rutkowski, otherwise known as Emotionally Spicy.
Hi, readers. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Katie.
And welcome to Not Another Heroine Season 2, the podcast where we break down the best and worst fictional heroines of any genre. Because that's what we do now.
Want to see what's next on our TBR list? Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Instagram for a sneak peek at upcoming content or to help us pick our next book. We're going to talk about this book again.
We're going to talk about this book for the next several weeks.
Everybody's like, whoa.
Well, I should say books because we're going to do the whole trilogy.
That's true. Yeah.
Because again, just to reiterate, this reads like one well-planned novel that it just happens to be close to 900 pages long.
This would be such a good TV show. Like one season per book or like, limited series maybe.
And you don't need any like crazy CGI because there's no magic.
Yeah. The whole fantasy argument thing again. Like, there's no magic, so it's not fantasy.
Whatever.
Okay.
It's fine.
I don't know that any of this happened in our history, but sure, go ahead.
Exactly. We left off where Kestrel had attempted to run away and like escape this rebellion. She's captured. Cheat is about to step on her hand, and Aaron comes in and saves the day. War prize. I just picture that book in my head.
I know. A little throwback to, War Prize. Yeah, Kestrel's a slave now.
Kestrel's a slave, and Aaron is on his way to the docks to keep the Valorian ships from like setting sail and warning the capital that a rebellion has taken place. And Kestrel's like, you're a fucking idiot. You think you're just going to row up to these boats and just like, they're going to let you on? My guy.
I love the whole, like, as soon as Aaron takes over the peninsula and becomes, like governor for Heron or whatever, Kestrel is just there in the background like, you're a fucking idiot.
Like just standing over her shoulder looking at his battle plans like, you did not think this through.
And it's funny too because it almost feels like she can't help herself. Like she's like, I'm a Valorian and these people are my enemy, but also like, Aaron, you were fucking this up. I feel that like when you watch somebody doing something and you're like, God, just stop. Let me do it.
It's like watching someone who doesn't know how to cook make the simplest dish.
Yeah. You're like, I need to keep myself at bay.
That's not how you chop an onion, my guy. Like, no, please don't do that.
Aaron's just there like existing on vibes, and Kestrel's like, I'm going to kill you.
Well, the weird thing too at this point in the novel is that Aaron is like not running the show.
Yeah.
Cheat is the guy in charge and he's calling all the shots, which is probably for the best for the rebellion. Because, if Aaron was running things, this rebellion would not have worked.
No, Aaron's like sad boy in love, having, some trauma.
It's, I don't know. I like Aaron like a little less the more we talk about him.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's this weird contrast because you can't help but finish the series and you're rooting for Aaron and Kestrel the whole time. But like, I don't love Aaron.
No. It's he's a simp for Kestrel. And I think Kestrel is just such a big, awesome character that you're doing it for her. And you're like, she should be happy. Like, Aaron, work a little bit harder. You got it. But it's like, I'm doing this for Kestrel, not for Aaron.
Yeah, exactly. This is why we love this book, is Kestrel's probably one of the best heroines we've ever read.
Yeah. I will say this quote that we put in the summary, like, Aaron, okay. I'm like, Jesus. What a touching concern for Valorian life. As if you hadn't let your leader kill that woman. As if you're not responsible for the death of my friends, said Kestrel. Aaron faced her. I will let every single Valorian in the city die if it means that you don't. Gah, we love a simp.
But also Kestrel, like that means nothing to Kestrel.
Nope.
Because she was raised as a Valorian. And that's not how Valorians think or operate or perceive the world.
Well, yeah, because this is almost like another echo of that scene where they're in the carriage and she's like, every Valorian knows how to do like an honor suicide. You think I won't do it? And Aaron's like, yeah, I don't want to find out.
And that kind of harkens back to the whole like why Valorians took over Heron in the first place. It's like the Herons were, brilliantly intelligent and lovers of the arts and medicine. And yet they're a little too soft.
Yeah. Because, there was a quote at the beginning, like, you didn't know how to kill or something, or you didn't know how to die. She's like, well, fucking kill everything.
Exactly. So Aaron is trying to, scrabble back and make sure this rebellion doesn't fall apart with, under Cheat's direction. And so he and Cheat are kind of isn't Kestrel in the room when they were talking about how to stop these boats from leaving the harbor?
I think so, because she's the one that kind of makes the like snarky comment, like, good luck without the code. And they kind of look at her and she's like, maybe I shouldn't have said that. And then they're like, well, Kestrel, you're coming with us.
Because she claims that she has the code. She does a really good job bluffing her way through this one. She's like, you're not going to take these boats without me. And this part I was a little confused about with Kestrel is why she kind of goes along with the boat thing.
I don't really know either. And the only thing I can think of is there's a scene during their like takeover when, they get in the little boats and they pretend to be Valorians and they go up to the big frigate ship or whatever and they do the call sign code or whatever and they get up to it and Kestrel's left alone for a second and she like threatens to jump over or she's about to and then she's like, I'm a little bit too much of a coward.
I'm a bit of a bitch right now.
So I don't know if her like intent the whole time was to escape or if it was just needed a moment in the plot to have Kestrel pretend that she's going to, kill herself, but then not. I don't know.
It seemed like there was some sort of half-assed plan in Kestrel's mind to like somehow use these ships to escape, if I'm remembering right.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work. So
yeah, I get that. She's probably a little frazzled.
Yeah, and during this time, she discovers that all of her friends were poisoned.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because they like go back to the house where the party was, and then they like see everyone all fucked up. We wrote the sister or the cousin's name is Sardine. That's not her name, but I love it. I was just reading that. Sardine, Aaron's cousin, is there. But yeah, I think that's like their head of their like headquarters, and then the cousin agrees to take care of Kestrel. But then she's like, I want to see Jess. Like, is Jess even alive? Like, maybe that was why she agreed to go with the ship thing. Because didn't he say he would
like save Jess?
Yeah,
Jess and Ronan.
There's something there, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, but then they get back to the headquarters and then Cheat and Aaron force her to write a letter. And I love it because she's like, you fucking idiot. And then Aaron's like, no, I'm going to dictate it and then you're going to write it. And she's like, damn it.
And then they make her write it over and over and over again because she tries to be sneaky with her handwriting and make it super sloppy so her father would pick up on something being wrong. And like good on Kestrel for like still fighting back despite,
yeah,
this romantic tension with Aaron.
But it's also crazy because it shows how much Aaron knows her, that he can like match her tone well enough that her father would be like, oh, everything's okay.
Yep. And so she's also, she sees Jess.
Oh, yeah.
Because Aaron takes her to like the sick hall basically, and she sees all these bodies, and she sees this like they're dying. Like there's no way that these people are going to live. Yeah. And then it occurs to Kestrel, I think, that hey, you guys were great doctors. I know you can save her. There's got to be some sort of medicine. And Aaron confesses that he knows of something, but it's like out of season. He doesn't know if he can find it, but he agrees to help Jess and find this medicine.
Because it's also like, that's such a not tactically smart move to just disappear for 3 days. And I think he sells it as like he's going to go scout to figure out what they're going to do about the giant canyon and the Valorians that are going to sweep through again. But he's like really just out there to save Jess's friend.
Exactly.
Yeah. Aaron. He does find it though, which I was surprised by. Because you would think with the plot, it would not make it more juicy, but I was expecting Jess to die and then Kestrel to hold that against him.
But what actually happens with Jess's whole plot line through this trilogy is epic. And it takes such good planning on the part of the author to like have her get sick and almost die and then them save her. And then we can't talk about it yet because that happens in book 2, but holy shit, Batman. Like,
honestly, because Aaron finds like a really like emaciated, wimpy little plant, and they give it to Jess, and she kind of sort of gets better because it's not like a fix-all, but it's like it'll keep you alive-ish. And so Jess kind of gets better, and she's like, I want to go home, Kestrel. And you could tell that's one of the moments where Kestrel realizes that this is like not just a game, like this is a little bit real, like people are dying.
And I believe this is the same medicine that has some toxic side effects that can cause severe lethargy and like just unwellness as a thing. And then this medicine also makes a reoccurrence later on in the trilogy.
It does?
It does.
What?
Because it's the side effects of the medicine that Kestrel recognizes later.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Like, that's what
Wow.
I mean. Like, the planning.
Okay, Marie. God damn. Okay. That also shows my reading comprehension is like 4. You know what I mean? I'm
Well,
just here for vibes.
okay, readers, it's been several weeks since
That's
we
true.
finished these books.
Yeah.
It's just taking us a long time because there's just, like you said, there's so much to get through. There's
Yeah.
so many layers.
Which is crazy too, because these aren't that long of a book.
No.
Especially because we were just talking about From Blood and Ash by
Jennifer
Armentrout or
yeah.
whatever. That one's 600 pages.
No
You got
one-
me fucked up.
No one needs 600 pages for a romantasy plot.
No, like I think this is probably 6, 7 altogether over 3 books. Ugh. But all of the scenes are.
They serve some sort of purpose. So Aaron is off hunting this plant, scouting the canyon because, regardless of whether Kestrel does send the letter to her father and no boats leave the harbor, but they know that the capital is going to find out some way and then they're going to send a whole legion of soldiers to destroy Heron. And so they're trying to kind of plan for that. Oh, yeah, because Aaron's off running to get whatever so Kestrel doesn't hate him, but Cheat's still there, and he, develops this complex almost around Kestrel, and he, demands to see her, and then we get this kind of, the beginnings of danger on the horizon almost of, this is gonna end up not good. Because he demands that she washes his feet and oil them, and then at the last second, Aaron walks in. But it's one of those oh, this is gonna degrade very rapidly. It's icky feeling. Whenever you read scenes with Cheat as a character, you see how he was necessary for the story and for the plot to progress. But man, is he a slime ball?
Yeah, 100%. And it kind of becomes clear too, because Aaron's whole plan with the landslide or whatever, they have this kind of crazy plan. It works. The canyon is closed. The Valorians can't get in. And Cheat is immediately jealous because Aaron's this hero figure now because
because Cheat gets shot right away.
Oh, he does. Lame. I forgot about that.
Okay, because this is kind of an epic battle.
Yeah.
The Valorians send a legion through the mountain pass the same way that they got Heron in the first place a decade plus ago. But Aaron and Cheat's plan is to basically, a la Mulan style, shoot the mountain down. So there's a landslide that severs the legion in half and separates the cavalry and the front half from the back half. It's excellent. And then they have people taking shots at them and they win. And it's great. But in the first stage of this battle, in the first 5 minutes, Cheat gets shot and goes unconscious.
You just missed the whole thing. That's okay.
Yeah, pretty much. And then Aaron is the war hero and he saves the day. And at the very last minute, there's the plan is almost not going to work. And he comes through all on his own and makes the plan work.
Yep.
Yeah, and then he's the war hero and people love him.
Yep. And it's just interesting too, because you can kind of see at the beginning that people kind of deferred to Aaron for one reason or another. But then after this, it becomes more and more obvious. And there's even, I think, a scene where someone is asking Cheat for something and his eyes flash to Aaron for a second to get actual permission. And then Cheat tells him no, just out of pettiness. And it's oh, this is slowly unraveling out of your hands, isn't it?
This is not a good dynamic at all.
Oh, yeah. Cheat kind of it gets to a head and he asks Aaron to go see all of the Valorian captives. And he's like, oh, yeah, go check it out. And then he shows up and it just smells like blood and everyone's been murdered.
In their cells, brutally.
Ugh.
I pictured this scene because it's pretty graphic. The Bolshevik firing squads from the revolution. Just that's kind of how they murdered all of these prisoners of war.
Because it's crazy too, because Aaron realizes immediately, he's like, you just lost all your leverage. We had hostages and you decided to kill them all. But then he realizes that this is all a distraction because he's like, wait a second, Cheat and Kestrel are
alone.
Oh, no.
And Kestrel's in her room, I think. It's her room. It's adjoined with Aaron's.
Do you want to talk about their little... Because those scenes are interspaced in between this.
Okay, so in the midst of all this battle planning and saving Heron from another Valorian incursion, Kestrel and Aaron are like living in very close proximity, and Kestrel's like, I'm a slave, but no one's treating me like a slave. Like, she's got beautiful rooms and like a maid servant, which is like Aaron's cousin, Sardine.
Sardine.
And Kestrel is like not happy that she feels comfortable in her current setting. So she knows she should be fighting back more, but she's like actually enjoying the time.
And she's like fighting with herself.
Yeah, which is reasonable and how I would hope anyone would feel in the same circumstances. But her room shares a courtyard with Aaron's room. And isn't there like a locked key thing going on? I don't remember.
But it's only locked on her side, so she can go through whenever she wants to go see Aaron, but she has to fight herself in her inner turmoil between her love and her love for her country. Anyways.
Wow. So there is that tension going on between Aaron and Kestrel this entire time, and like the romantic inclinations are rebuilding again. And then Kestrel's in her room, and I think she's like dwelling on Aaron or something, and she's just distracted. So distracted that she doesn't hear the door open behind her. And
I think she thinks it's Aaron.
She does.
Ugh, that's even like, worse.
And it's Cheat. Because Aaron is, distracted at the Valorian prison with all the dead bodies. And Cheat takes this opportunity to assault Kestrel, like knocks her down on the floor and tries to rape her. And just as he's about to, like, it's there. The door slams open and it's Aaron. And he takes his sword and runs it through Cheat. Like, there is no hesitation. He just murders this guy.
I was about to say that's my favorite part, that Aaron doesn't even think twice.
Yeah.
He's like,
you're
gonna die.
Yeah, like, that's my woman. Fuck you. And
death.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised at that scene. Like,
I was too, but I think it shows not why Aaron isn't a good leader, but you can tell that Kestrel always thinks ahead, and she's like cold and calculated, and she'll do the right thing even if it feels yucky to do. Aaron isn't. Like, he lets his emotions kind of run wild and will do whatever feels right in the moment, even if it doesn't make sense later. And I think that's kind of the difference between them, and this scene kind of highlights that, because it does not make sense to murder, the leader of your,
Kestrel would not do that.
No, she would just accept that, like, fuck, this is so fucked up, but also like the good of the cause. But then this, like, we'll do this little extra little quotey quote. Kestrel, Aaron's question was something he clearly hated to ask. How badly are you hurt? As you see, her eye was swelling shut and the carpet had skinned her cheek raw. My face, nothing more. I could kill him 1,000 times and still want to do it again. She looked at Cheat's slumped body as it soaked the carpet with blood. Somebody had better clean that up. It won't be me. I'm not your slave. Quietly, he said, you really aren't. I might believe you if you gave me the whole set of keys. The corner of his mouth twitched. But would you have any respect for my intelligence?
Absolutely not.
No. But it's also like Aaron would 100% do that.
Yeah. This is like a turning point in the relationship. Kestrel feels vulnerable and raw because this traumatic thing happened to her. Yeah. And Aaron was the reason it didn't. So she feels indebted to him, but she's resentful that she's indebted to him.
Yeah.
And still at war with herself because, again, so many Valorians have died. Her friend is barely recovering from this poison. And what is she going to do?
The first time I read this, I had zero idea. Like, was she going to, be the big baddie, or was she going to let her heart soar? This plot is so well done because I was on nails. I had no idea.
Okay, and in the meantime, she's planning to escape her rooms. Like, she's trying to find a way out of this complex. And so she, like, stacks a chair on top of another chair and, like, climbs onto the roof.
Yeah.
And, like, Aaron hears her, like, little pitter-pattering feet on the roof. And she's like, well, this isn't going to work. So she goes back to her room. And so there's, like, these kind of half-hearted escape attempts. And each time she learns something a little bit different as she's, succeeds or fails. And this is all leading up to her actual escape.
Yeah, I think something happens and she finally decides, like, I need to do, like, the right thing. And I think the scene is written where it's, like, short paragraphs, and it's, like, she decides to do it. She stacks a couple things, and then it flips to Aaron, and he's, like, sleeping, and he has a dream about Kestrel, and then he wakes up, and then he, like, hears her patter on his roof, and he's like, like, I always expected this to happen, and it, like, finally did. You can feel his heartbreak in the scene because he's like, I was hoping Kestrel wasn't gonna do this, and there she is, there she goes,
And
she's escaping.
He knows he has to stop her, so she escapes. She takes her horse Javelin, and she rides into the city. She makes it to the docks because her plan is to steal, like, a little boat and sail to the capital.
Wild.
Like, I can't. No.
No.
I have been on those little tiny sailboats, and absolutely, I would die.
You got me fucked up.
Mm-mm.
And it's storm season.
Yeah. And she's like, I know how to sail. I can handle this. And Aaron chases her. But this, please talk about this.
Because they, like, have a face-off, and he's like, I always knew that you were going to escape eventually. Like, please don't go. But then he just lets her go because he's like, I know it's going to ruin the whole rebellion, and you're going to escape and go to the Valorians and tell them to, like, come in here. But, like, I can't stop you.
It's the, like, and he doesn't know he's going to let her do it. He's going after her to, like, stop her until, like, the very last second. And he knows he's, like, sacrificing his entire fucking country for this woman because she's going to bring the Valorian rage back.
And it's interesting, too, because I think that moment adds to Kestrel's emotional baggage later, because as we get in these scenes, she steals a boat and she doesn't really have enough, like, food or water to take this 3-day trip, and then a storm comes and it's even worse. The whole time, she's kind of, like, negotiating with herself of what she's going to say when she first appears in Valoria, of, like, is there a rebellion happening? Is it that bad? And I think there's, like, this, like, tipping moment where she's like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to, assess what's going on and then kind of find a way that I won't sentence Aaron to death. But then she, like, immediately is like, the Heron Peninsula has fallen. Like, they have a rebellion. You need to go stop them. And then passes out. But it's like, you can tell that there's so much emotional baggage and she feels so horribly guilty about it. And then, like, Aaron just letting her go. And she's like, I'm betraying him.
It's so heavy because she nearly dies on this voyage. She is, like, starving, dehydrated, ill. It's so, like, martyr Kestrel when she's, like, rescued from this boat and nearly collapses and I'm here to save my people.
And it's funny, too, because the Emperor immediately is like, you're a hero of the people now, like a daughter of Valoria. But I know the real truth that, you took a suspiciously long time to get here.
Yeah. This
was probably one of the best endings of a book that was, like, mid-series that I've ever read. Like, I think about this scene sometimes. Just
agreed. Because Kestrel meets with the Emperor. Because in the meantime, during the course of her sailing, like, her father, General the Kool-Aid Man,
Daddy Trajan.
Daddy Trajan is sent forward, and then the ships are sent forward, and they are wreaking havoc on Heron.
Mm-hmm.
And Heron people are, like, kind of, what is it called when you, like, stockpile for a siege?
Oh, yeah, I think it's just encamping or entrenching.
Something like that.
Sounds pretty somewhere in that genre.
I pictured Troy.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Aaron knows he's losing. Like, there's no way. They're just trying to minimize the damage because just the sheer technology that the Valorian people have, like their siege towers and their archers, they're going to fall one way or the other, whether they start from the inside or whether they're actually overtaken. And this is all happening in Heron. Meanwhile, Kestrel and the Emperor have this, like, tete-a-tete.
Yeah, like chess game.
Yeah. And she somehow manages to argue that Heron needs to be made a self-governing colony under the Emperor.
But the Emperor's like, girl, I know why you're asking for this.
And in exchange, oh my God, the Emperor's like, you're a hero of the nation, and I have a weak-ass son who needs a strong spouse. Like, I thought this was awesome of the Emperor because he looked at Kestrel and was like, you would make a great empress. Like, I don't agree with all your decisions, and I know there's something shady going on, but you need to rule this kingdom, not my son.
Yeah.
So you need to marry him.
Yeah. And he sweeps up the military too, because her dad. So it's like in one fell swoop, you get someone that will save the empire. There we go. And you get the military, and it's like, yeah, she has this, like, Heron boyfriend, but we'll just keep that behind closed doors.
The Emperor is such an interesting character. Like, fascinating, intelligent, like, at turns, like, holds Kestrel accountable, rewards her, like acknowledges her intelligence and her planning and all of this stuff, but it also knows like she's got a boyfriend.
Yeah, because I think the son describes him as like a snake. Like he'll hang out and wait until, like, he doesn't forget things. You think that, oh, like I got one over on him, and it's like a month later, someone dies, and it's like, huh, interesting.
There's a reason the emperor is the emperor.
Yeah.
And has been in power for decades.
Yep, but Kestrel now has to marry the son. And she's like, I don't even like him. And he's like, when has that ever mattered?
Yeah. And then we flash. We flash back to Heron. And
the cinematic value of this scene.
Oh my God, why can't we have this in a TV show? Please proceed.
Okay. So they're on the brink of Daddy Trajan breaking into the city. Like, he's about to blow, he has like his rangers or something, about to blow a giant hole into the wall. Aaron is like, fuck, like this is the end. And then he gets a little note, and it's a Kestrel bird. It flies into the city, and he's like, what the fuck? And he reads it, and it's a note from Kestrel, and it's like, let me in, Aaron. So that's like the start of this. And he reads the note. Daddy Trajan backs off, and he's like, okay, I have no idea what's going on. And so he goes out to meet her. He's like, you're not going to come in because like you're scary tactically. You would destroy everything. Like, nope, we'll meet on the outside. And he looks at her, and
she walks up the beach. Describe how she looks.
She's obviously beautiful and clean, but the sun glints off her forehead where she has oil and like sparkles, and it is a Valorian engagement sign.
They put gold dust. It's like a forehead tiara, and it's just drawn on in gold, and she's wearing white furs. Like, I pictured something glorious from Vikings.
Oh, 100%. Like, just beautiful, pristine. And his heart drops because he is like, Kestrel, what the fuck did you do?
And she delivers this message that Aaron is now the governor of Heron, and she is the future empress. And come to the capital because we're going to have to discuss your taxes situation. And that is...
And it's so like, Aaron is like, Kestrel, what did you do? And she's like, I traded up. Like, what do you mean, what did I do? And she has this martyr, like.
She's stoic, though.
Yeah. Oh, she's like, I don't know. Like, you're just, a Heron guy, and I have the potential to be the next empress.
Why would I choose you if I could be the empress of Valoria? And I'm just picturing her with her little gold forehead thing and her furs, and she's like, sucks to be you, Aaron, but you're welcome. You're welcome for making you governor.
And then he turns around and he's like, well, if I'm going to be the governor, you're going to be the emissary. I am only going to work with you because we're going to get to the bottom of this nonsense because I don't believe that you are doing this. And she's like, fine. I'm unperturbed. I'm going to be an empress.
He can't read her. He doesn't know. He just knows that something's not right, but he's like, there's not enough trust yet built between the two of them for him to not take her at face value.
Yeah. And, oh God, because that's basically the plot of the whole second book, is he's convinced that she's doing this, but like, is she? Oh, God.
So that is The Winner's Curse, the completion of book 1. But not the completion of the story, because the story is too epic.
Yeah.
It needs 3 books.
100%. Because you can't just...
But that ending.
Oh my
walking
God.
on the beach.
Yep.
Like
her
that.
Little forehead glinting.
I'm going to be the empress. You're going to be my governor.
And just her like, I traded up. What do you mean? And he's like, I don't believe you. It's like, what do?
And let's revisit. They have kissed one time in the course of this entire book. And yet the romantic tension is so extreme, like palpable. I got tingly.
I know. Oh my God. Because this book is not spicy at all, but it's one of those like, oh,
it's emotionally spicy.
Yeah. Emotionally spicy. 100%. That's this series, emotionally spicy.
Yeah.
God. Do we talk about book 2?
No.
Okay.
No, we don't. Readers, I'm sorry.
You gotta suffer.
You gotta wait till next week. If you are as invested in this series as we are, we'll be talking about the part 1, book 2 next Monday.
Yes. From our shelf to yours.
We'll see you on the next page.
readers, if you'd like to help us pick our next book, send us a message on Instagram.
Or if you'd like to just listen, we post new episodes every Monday and Wednesday on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. Thanks for listening.
Bussin'.